What is up, RotoGrinders? Yeah, we're talking basketball. You thought we were done with basketball? We ain't done with basketball. There's still several basketball shows to go. About a little less than 2 weeks left in the NBA season. Most of the baseball being played throughout the day. A couple baseball games tonight. So we're knocking out a basketball show. It's an extended version of Crunch Time or a shortened version of Grinders Live, depending on how you want to look at it. But we got us for the next hour and 10, hour and 15, taking you all the way to the bell. A 7-gamer tonight in the association. 2 games at 7, 1 game 7:30, and it's backloaded. 4 games at 8 o'clock. It is a sprint slate. We're not going to be talking about the late nonsense. I shouldn't call it nonsense. Some fun plays. Well, Jazz are playing, but you got Joker and you have Wemby playing later. We're not discussing that. That's not in the main slate. Help me out here. TJ's Warrich, one of the greatest DFS players of all, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, as well as Notorious grinding away. Still grinding away on the. Is it called the grind down for basketball? Is that the term? Grind down?
It's just core boys now. We got rid of the grind down, and best day of my life. Yeah, after the birth of my kids, of course.
Oh, yeah. You needed the reprieve for sure, especially this time of year where we were talking about a pre-show, and even players we thought that were out. Joel Embiid was playing a little April Fool's prank, or maybe he was being serious. He thought he was going to play, but he did tweet out that they're not going to let him play. He wants to play, or he's going to play, but then he officially said about an hour ago or so, yeah, they ain't let him play. They don't really need him because Philadelphia is taking on the Wizards, and the Wizards, they are happy to give up some W's. A lot of scheduled blowouts actually on the slate with the Wizards and whatever's left of the Bucks. I believe the Bucks have 9 dudes wearing uniforms this evening. What else do we have that's of note? The Kings, they're taking on Toronto, and there are several players that are currently questionable, big name players. Midday downgrade for Josh Giddey, which certainly is meaningful. I think all of them are in the 8 o'clock window, if I'm not mistaken, right? So Giddey's questionable, 8 o'clock. Scotty Barnes is questionable, 8 o'clock. Of notes, it's back half of back-to-back for Toronto. Pirtle is not on the injury report, and I believe he's not played a back-to-back all season long. If he did, it was like the first month of the season. But I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure he's never done a back-to-back. He did have to work very hard last night because Toronto was involved in a blowout. Jalen Brunson, also 8 o'clock, also questionable, also blowout, facing Memphis, 14-point line. I think there was one more. I'm forgetting it for some reason on the top of my head. Well, I'm sure I'll figure it out as we go. Franz Wagner's back. I don't think that's who it was, but Franz Wagner or the brothers Wagner. He's good to go against Atlanta. A game that's actually meaningful. 2 teams that are actually trying to play and win basketball this evening. We're going to go game by game. Then we're going to circle back and we go position by position. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. You guys are hanging out in the YouTube. TJ, you want to give me an overview how you're approaching this slate? I kind of touched on it. There's some pretty key players that are questionable. Your guy, Scotty Barnes. Midday downgrade for Josh Giddey seems pretty dicey to me. The Bulls kind of did a terrible job as far as tanking. They're in a bad spot right now. But, they probably want to lose this game, but they haven't done – they're also facing the Pacers. That good luck if you're trying to lose, you're facing the Pacers. But they're only 5-point favorites. And then Brunson, we don't know. That seems like a good spot where he's not going to play, but we'll see. How are you handling all this, big names that are currently questionable?
I kind of feel like I'm just not handling it yet. Like, I don't know how to handle it. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to handle it by not handling it. And, Josh Giddey, Jalen Brunson, Ryan Rollins, Scotty Barnes, just the top-level guys. And, like he said, Milwaukee has 9 with Ryan Rollins, who's currently questionable. I wrote up the expert survey this morning, and I had some errands to run right around the deadline time. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get it done nice and early, so I don't have to worry about it. And obviously think there'd be some changes, but as soon as I'm done, top cash play, Joel Embiid, he's out. Top tournament play, Josh Giddey, downgraded to questionable. Top overall play and top salary saver, Sandro Mamukelashvili, because Jakob Poeltl doesn't play in back-to-backs. Apparently he is. I don't think we know for sure until we see a starting lineup. Just because you never know with the antics that these NBA teams throw out there. But right now, my plan is just Philadelphia in the 7 o'clock games and mostly ignoring every other team. so that I can hopefully wait until some of this news starts trickling in.
Yeah, and thank you. Rollins is the one I couldn't think of for some reason. I have it written down here, but I couldn't get to it. And he's been very good. He'll be asked to do a ton. Obviously, the matchup here, back-to-back on the road. I think it's 3rd and 4 nights. They're trying to lose. And, taking on Amen Thompson, good luck, 20-point dogs. I don't know if he's going to play. He probably doesn't. And then we're going to see like 30-plus minutes out of Gary Trent and A.J. Green. Alex Antetokounmpo is going to get dusted off. So, yeah, it's several games where we're expecting some blowouts. Noto, anything as far as the big picture, anything you want to say as far as the slate before we dive in and go game by game?
I will say quickly that Steve has posted if we can get 50 likes really quick, he will do a Wheel Wednesday, which we know that people love. Unfortunately, people don't really ever know how to hit the like button on mobile.
Is there a tutorial for that? Is that something you can maybe possibly on the fly? I don't know if you can do that, but maybe.
I don't think there's anything set, but luckily I'm a man of many skills. On your computer, it's easy. You take your mouse, you slide it over, you click it. On your phone or your tablet, it's hard. You got to go to YouTube. And look, we're going to be right at the top. We are going to be right at the top. You can give it a little click, and there we are. But alas, how do I hit the like button, Dean? The chat's there. There is no like button. I got to hit the little X. As soon as I can hit the little X, it's gone. Like button there. Bam. Click it. Life is good. Like button has been clicked.
Did that work? Did we get 50 likes really quick? Are we going to get to spin the wheel or not? Let us know. Give the people a minute or so, and then Steve, let them know. And if we are going to spin the wheel, of course, Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. Steve will he'll post the avatar where you hit the wheel, and then your name will get spun on the wheel about 45 minutes or so, give or take. But no such promises. No. Pitcher, what do you got?
Yeah, I like Philly. I like Indy and Chicago, especially if Giddey ends up being out. And then I like Cat, and that's pretty much the slate. Obviously, some things can change if Brunson's out and Giddey and Rollins and Scotty Barnes. So still a lot waiting on, but I kind of agree with TJ in that you want to play Philly from the 7 p.m. Eastern games and then probably just wait it out until the 8 p.m. Eastern games.
Yeah, I wrote today that I want to play at least one player from Philly in theory, but I also don't want to get too much because I didn't write that part, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud. If the dominoes fall a certain way, I don't know how married I want to be. I don't know if I want 3+ from Philly, but I guess we can cross out Washington. Let's introduce the game. 238.5 is the total. Washington, 14-point dog here versus Philly. Embiid not playing tonight unless something. Yeah, he's not playing. I know he's already tweeting about not playing. He's not happy about it. Maxey is good to go with his finger. Otherwise, they're clean. They're good to go. Washington Coulibaly is available. Leaky Black potentially maybe in the G League according to the injury report. We shall see. I don't know how much that matters. Trey Johnson's available. He only plays so much. They do have 11. So I think it would go down to 10. But yeah, it's all about Philadelphia. I think here, Noto, like the matchup, perfect storm here with the key player being out and the key matchup against the Wizards. So Maxey looks great. If we don't get the Maxey, PG-13's been awesome since coming back from a suspension. And I don't mind Edgecombe, a little sneaky Oubre revenge. How do you feel about the Sixers?
Yeah, I think you covered it pretty well. With Embiid off the floor, you get Paul George with the 4% usage boost, Edgecombe 3%, Maxey 3%. I think those are your big three here. And then obviously you're going to see more minutes for Bona and Drummond at center. I don't mind mixing them in if you're building multiple lineups, but it's probably going to have better value opening up depending on these injuries. So I like the idea of playing one or two of Maxey, George, and Edgecombe. You mentioned, George has been great since returning from suspension, 54, 57, and 31 in his 3 games. And then Maxey's just always great without Embiid. Not sure I can trust anybody on Washington's side. They have half their team out, and I still don't want to play anybody. It's kind of that point in the season. So pretty much just those 3 in this game, and then I'll move on to the next one.
I got my season-long finals. So Will Riley is somebody I'm rooting for, my season-long. But otherwise, I don't think anybody on Washington – not that I trust Will Riley. Vukcevic in theory, but he can only get so much burn. I don't really know how to figure out those Philadelphia center minutes. I'm not sure if we have to necessarily. It might just get chopped up. TJ, how are you handling Philly? Do you have any rules in place? Are we just Xing out Washington?
XL Washington for sure, 100%. Not getting to any of them. Philly, I was thinking of doing them in one, but I don't think I'll need to. Like, I'll just kind of get there naturally. Maxey, George, top 2 plays by a pretty significant margin. George has been actually playing like really well since coming back from his suspension, and so totally fine getting to him. I was toying with the idea of playing minimum one of them in every lineup. Probably not going to do it, but Edgecombe great too. Option 3 for sure, but I do think Edgecombe is totally fine tonight. Oubre projects poorly, and I don't like him, but I know, like, we know he has a ceiling. Like, every now and then he just has these random mega games, and so I will include him in the pool. Don't really like it. And then I'll get to a little Andre Drummond as well, just because sometimes he'll, like, start the second half and then end up getting to, like, 24 to 28 minutes, and usually when that happens, he's not what he was, but he still has a pretty good fantasy point game in those situations. So Drummond and Oubre exclusively for like large field ceiling chasing, and then Maxey, George, Edgecombe. I think all 3 of them are great plays, and I'd rank them in that order.
You got Drummond over Bona as far as upside. You think Drummond's got a better chance to get a bigger score if one of them gets there?
Big time. I just feel like Bona's the more likely one to get you just 20, but I don't really care about that, and so I'm keeping Drummond in the pool. I have no Bona.
Yeah, I don't really have a good read on that, but one of them could be useful in theory. Let's talk about Atlanta. Orlando, the only other 7:00 game. This is a game that matters in standings, right? So both these teams will be trying pretty hard. They're jockeying for position. Orlando at 40-35, Atlanta 43-33. I believe they're next to each other in the Eastern Conference as well. So if Orlando wants to make a move on Atlanta, they gotta get this one tonight. Maybe that's why they're forcing Franz out there. Last time we saw he wanted to play in Germany, and that's when he had that big setback. We've not seen him set since that game months ago. Anthony Black is still out. Otherwise, Orlando is clean. Isaac's out. Doesn't matter. Jock Landale had the fish, but he's good to go. Atlanta fully healthy. Nobody of note is out for the Hawks. No, Magic, Hawks, what do you got?
Yeah, don't necessarily love a ton from this game. You can always play Jalen Johnson in large field tournaments. It does feel like his ceiling's been a little bit capped since they traded or picked up CJ McCollum. So I don't know. He's had a couple 60-plus fantasy point games, but I think there's been 2 in the last 15 games. So I don't know. Don't necessarily love the matchup for him. Don't trust his backcourt when everybody's healthy. On the Magic side, Paolo Banchero is probably my favorite play. Like, he has 50-plus fantasy point upside in his bag, while Bane's just been between like 25 and 35 every game. I think he's had 11 straight games without topping 40 fantasy points, even without Wagner and Black in the lineup. So I can't play Bane. Suggs is playing more minutes lately, so I guess you could look at him in large field stuff, but it's not a game that I plan to have much exposure to. But I think if I had to pick one guy, it'd be Banchero.
I mentioned the playoff situation. Orlando currently in the 8 spots, 3 games behind Atlanta. Atlanta in the 5 spots. So, and Toronto and Philly, 2 teams in between. All those teams on the slate. Toronto and Philly should win, and their opponents should cooperate there. The best thing you can say about this game is that like they're teams that are trying. The prices are tricky, but like you might get 38 minutes out of Jalen Johnson. You might get 38 minutes out of Banchero. Possibly close to 40 out of Banchero because they really need that W. TJ, anything to add here as far as Atlanta and Orlando?
Not even a little bit. I have 0 players in this game. I X'd out the entirety of both teams and I'm playing 150s. So I got nothing to say about any of these guys. I think you can play Jalen Johnson or Paolo Banchero. I'm not playing either of them.
Is that more about just like saving spots for possible injury stuff later on?
Yeah, for the most part. And just like I like to try and keep as tight of a pool as I can. And this just doesn't feel like a ceiling game for me. It seems like a grinded out type of game to me. We got the Wheel Wednesday message scrolling it's in Discord right now. All you got to do is add the little RG symbol to the message to be entered. And the streets are saying, if we can quickly get 25 more likes up to 75, there would be 2 spins, Dean.
Well,
not not to put the pressure on you, but I will say on Sunday, Dean, we had a baseball show in the morning. That Sunday show is the only show of 2026 where we've eclipsed 200 likes. And it was yours truly who was hosting it, Dean. So pressure's on a little.
There's one thing you could point to that was distinctly different, and it was you were hosting and somebody wasn't there. So I don't. What are you trying to say? Say what you want to say, TJ. Feel free to say it. All right, let's talk about Boston and my Miami Heat. 230.5 is a total. Boston is a 4-point favorite here. This is the ESPN primetime game. Boston pretty comfortable in that 2-hole. It seems like they're not going to catch Detroit. New York likely not to catch them. There are 3 losses behind them, so Boston probably doesn't move. We might get resting stuff later on. Maybe they're not going to not try here versus Miami. Miami always tries. That's their problem. Don't get me started. They always try despite the fact that they only have so much of a ceiling. But, yeah, they're going to try to the point that they want to get out of the Miami Heat Invitational. That's not happening. Most likely not happening. They're going to be in the 7 through 10 nonsense. Bam might get 40 minutes tonight. Like I think there's a chance because Spo has pushed him several times of late. This is another spot where it might happen. You can't really assume that's going to happen. It's not necessarily a great matchup, but I think Bam is an awesome tournament play. That's going to be basically unowned. TJ, how are you handling Boston, Miami? Or are we just punting all the way up to 8 o'clock?
I am probably going to set like a rule of max 1 player from each team in this game. So I definitely will still be saving as many spaces as I possibly can for those games, 8 o'clock and later. But I do think these teams have, like, there's some guys that I could see hitting some ceilings, and therefore I'm going to keep them in the pool. On the Boston side, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can always get to these guys. Tatum is still underpriced, $8,800, playing full minutes now, and he's finally able to put the ball in the hoop. He's making some shots now a little bit, and so Tatum, I do think, is very interesting at 8,800, as is Jaylen Brown as a pivot off of Tatum. I'm debating keeping Derek White and or Peyton Pritchard in the pool. I think I'm going to get rid of White just because it's been a really long time since we've seen him do anything at all. He's kind of in that Desmond Bane role where it's like, hey, play some defense, be efficient. We got other guys who are going to shoot a lot of shots right now. And so no Derek White for me, not getting any Queta or anything like that. But I think I'll include Peyton Pritchard in the pool just because, yes, like he's usually a lot better when one of these guys are missing. But anytime he gets hot from 3, he can put up a ceiling performance.
I didn't mention the injury stuff. There's really not much to speak of. Nothing new. Vuk has been out for a while there for Boston. As far as Miami, they list their players as available. Pele Larson available. Jaime Jaquez, as is Jovic. The only one, Wiggins also available with his big toe. Powell's still out with with an illness. Noto, did I convince you on some Bam as far as tournament stuff? You make like one lineup, so you're probably not playing Bam. It's really hard to get to him in one lineup, but he's not going to be owning that single entry stuff. I promise you. Boston, Miami, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I could get down with some Bam. I don't think I'll do it myself, but I could get there. He's been playing pretty well. You mentioned the minutes have been up. Like, yeah, he's capable of playing 40-plus minutes. It's not a good matchup by any means. We basically have the slowest paced team versus fastest paced team. Yep. So in that scenario, you want to generally side with the slower paced team that's, getting the pace bump, which is going to be Boston. So I don't know. I just don't feel great about anyone with, everyone but Vucevic being active. Brown seems like he's played really well with Tatum in the lineup. He's had, several 50-plus fantasy point games, but he has averaged 5 fewer fantasy points per game with Tatum this season. And then Tatum, he hasn't been like super high ceiling guy, but 50-plus in 3 straight games. I think he's probably my favorite target from the game. But yeah, if you want to play Bam, I won't talk you out of it.
Let's jump to 8 o'clock, Milwaukee and Houston, another potential blowout with 19 points, depending on where you're shopping. We talked about the Bucks. They're playing the back half of back-to-back, and their season's over. And 2/3 of their Antetokounmpos are not playing tonight. That is Giannis and Thanasis. Midday downgrade. I think it wasn't midday. It's just they just report late because they played last night. But Ryan Rollins is questionable with his hip. Their tall guys are out, so they're tall guys. And, the abdometer. No Miles Turner, no Taurean Prince, no Bobby Portis, no KPJ. He's got that knee. Even Kyle Kuzma he's too good apparently. He's not playing basketball tonight. They gave him an Achilles. Gary Harris out for personal reasons. We're looking at 9. 9 players is what we're looking at right now, and possibly losing Rollins. I wanted to pull up the if-then stuff because, Sims projected about 30 minutes. Green and Trent would get a lot of burn, and then Usman would get a bunch of run, as I guess Andre Jackson would be the de facto point guard, I suppose. As for Houston, I should acknowledge Houston. They're playing. They're standard. No real injuries for the Rockets. They're good to go. They have been known to play down to their competition sometimes this year, but if you're really gonna have to try hard to keep this game close if you're the Rockets. But TJ, Milwaukee, Houston. I think Rollins is really interesting. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just in theory, it's interesting because he could put up like a 25-point triple-double, I guess. But it's just I don't see him playing, and I don't see him keeping this game close. How about yourself?
Yeah, I do want to actually throw a quick too because I forgot to mention in the last game. I don't mind Tyler Hero. Going to keep Tyler Hero in the pool because that's another guy I view as just like potential for a ceiling performance. But yeah, back to this one. If Rollins plays, I think I'm still going to be somewhat interested because while he absolutely could fizzle out and be terrible, what if they just play him 35 minutes? And in that situation, I feel like I'm absolutely definitely going to want him. And so he is going to stay in the pool for me if he plays. Assuming he does play, weirdly enough, I still don't really care about the Bucks. Like if he's in, I'll play Ryan Rollins. I'll play a little bit of Cormac Ryan because he is $3,400 and projects all right. Maybe get a little Dieng, but still, I don't know what his ceiling is at that price tag. If Rollins is in, I really don't care about this team, which is weird because they only have 9 guys. But the guys I would want are priced up a little bit to the point that I don't think I'd want them. And everybody else just feels like they're going to grind this game out nice and slow and put up 88 total points.
And if, I guess I'll throw this to Noto as far as Rollins. If you feel the same way, by all means, just let it be known. But what if we lose Rollins, Noto, we're down to 8? Again, if we're down to 8, you see the names. It's going to be ugly. But you got to play 5 amongst, Usman and Trent and Pete Nance and Sims. I know Sims projects really well on FanDuel where he's 4-1, but he's, center and center only. Cormac, Alex Antetokounmpo, Andre Jackson, AJ Green, kind of a couple 3-point shooters. I think we saw Trent a couple games ago be like the last man standing, score like 30 in the bucket. How do you feel about the Bucks? Feel free to jump over to the Rockets as well.
Yeah, if Rollins ends up being out, who's their point guard? Gary Trent?
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah.
2 games ago, you mentioned it. He had 31% usage rate, 30 points, took 21 shots. I mean, I'd have some interest there if Rollins ends up being out. I'll go out on a limb and say Cormac Ryan sets a career high in fantasy points tonight. Just needs 16.1 to get there.
It's bold.
I think he gets it. 3.4K. I love when these guys that I've never heard of become good value plays at this point in the season. But yeah, I think Sims is a little bit interesting just because their front court's missing so many guys. We've seen him have some decent games. But it's just tough because, like you mentioned, they're trying to lose. It's back-to-back. Worst matchup on the board, one of them. And then you got the blowout too. So I don't know. We'll wait and see with Rollins. If he ends up playing, I'll probably just stay away from the Bucks in my main lineup. Then the other side, I mean, I always like Amen Thompson. I always like Kevin Durant. They've been playing a ton of minutes lately. They've both been playing pretty well, and it looks like they're both pretty low owned too. So I like the idea of building with one of them. It's just whether or not you think the game can stay competitive, and that's a big if. It does look like Terry Easton's kind of projecting well. Yeah, he's coming off 3 straight nice games in a row. This is like one of the better matchups for him too. Maybe could see some garbage time run. I don't hate him in large field stuff.
Yeah, he had that funk where he went like 22, 23, 24 consecutive 3-point attempts where he missed them, and he scored, I think, 3 in his last couple. And, the Bucks, there's not that he necessarily needs a slump buster, but he would keep that slump busting going because this matchup versus whatever left is standing for Milwaukee is, no Giannis, no Turner, no Portis, no Kuzma. There's just really nothing inside. There's nothing outside either. There's just nothing. I think Easton's a really good play. I don't think it's adjusted as far as the price. TJ, Rockets, what do you got?
Yeah, I do like this side a lot more than the Buck side. I think Easton's probably the best play just because he's only 4,300. We knew that terrible shooting streak wasn't going to last forever. Like, it got so bad for Tari Eason that his mom was tweeting about how he couldn't hit the side of the backboard. And so you knew that wasn't going to last forever. He was going to turn it around. And so it kind of seems like we're finally there with him. I do think the 6K guys have some upside. Like, they're just sort of shots in the dark, 150 max plays for me. Reed Shepherd, Jabari Smith Jr. I'm mostly interested in Durant and Amen Thompson. I think, though, those are the guys that I'm going to be looking to get to the most. Durant, probably my favorite. Wrote him up as my favorite contrarian play on the expert survey today. And then Şengün's another guy I'll keep in the pool just because, again, he's probably going to have 38 fantasy points because what does he do most games? Gets 38 fantasy points. What does he do when he doesn't get 38 fantasy points? He gets 70. And so that's why he's going to be keeping in the pool for me.
This is one of those, what if this game stays close? If he can get 34 minutes against this Bucks team, there's triple-double alert for me. D-Mill says Andre Jackson Jr., point guard, live in Bucks country. We were talking about that. He's had 1 assist in his last 4 games where he's actually been getting some run. I was running down.
Giddey ruled out.
Yeah, we kind of knew that was coming. That seemed like it was pretty much an alarm when they the midday downgrade for him. We'll be talking about Trey Jones and Sexton here in a second. I guess let our projection team make an adjustment. But the guy that's had the most assists of late, and it's not a lot, somebody's got the most, was AJ Green. He's at least giving you a handful, but he's not. He's a shooter, right? And as is Trent. It's just going to be a disaster, really. And this is why Houston's 19-point favorites, and also Amen Thompson. Whoever ends up with the ball in their hands, good luck because Amen's going to be annoying, I'm sure. Okay, we can move along. Hey, if you want to get on the wheel, hit it early. Let's not make Steve's life difficult. Let's not wait for the last second. Let's shoot for around 6:45 on the East Coast. Get in that Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. The live stream chat channel. Just hit the avatar. You'll get your name on the wheel. We'll spin it 2-3 times, depending on how many times you guys hit the like button.
Still need 5 more likes for 2 spins. Hit that like button.
If you need a tutorial, rewind about 15 minutes or so. All right. It's the Kings taking on the Raptors. Again, another blowout on layaway. 227.5 is the total. Toronto's a 13-point favorite as far as who's in and who's out. We're looking at 10 Kings standing as of right now as far as the projections. There are no questionable players. Do I need to run them down? I mean, it's the usual nonsense. Carter, Clifford, Double D, DeMar DeRozan, Precious, and Maxime Renaud. That is your projected starters for Sacramento. For Toronto, Scotty Barnes is questionable, so that's definitely important. And if it's anything serious, they're just saying a contusion. It's probably not that serious, contusion on his shoulder, but it's also the Kings. Maybe give him a day. BI is still out, as is Quickly. So they are down 2 regulars. We're currently projecting Shed to start, as well as RJ Barrett, Walter, Barnes, and Pirtle. Kings, Raptors. What do you got for me?
Yeah, first of all, bless you, Steve. Sounds like he's struggling with some sneezes behind the scenes, so hopefully he gets that under control. But I don't know. It's Sacramento. I've never seen a team that projects worse. The best RG value is negative 4.7, which is Renaud. And
there's 10 guys. Just 10
guys. I mean, it's really bad. So I don't think I can play anybody here. Even if you're playing a bunch of lineups, I'd be interested to hear, TJ's takes since he plays more than one. But I'm not playing anybody from Sacramento. Toronto side, definitely more interesting. I like Barrett. I like Shed. I like Walter. I think they're all pretty strong options. And then Mamuk, I think you can still play him. He's had 22 plus in 5 straight games. I know he's not, the free square like he would have been if Pirtle was out, but we saw him projected for 22 minutes. Great matchup. Potential garbage time run too, since he's not going to be starting now. So I like him almost as much as I did before, and now he's going to be, half as owned as he was when we thought Pirtle was going to be out. Struggle with Scotty Barnes a little bit just because he's dealing with an injury, and I don't know. I do think the game's probably going to blow out a little bit.
The thing with Mamu is that I don't think he full-on mops. If this game gets fully ugly, like Mogbo's there, so he probably doesn't close if it's fully nonsense, but he should be good the minute he's out there. We know Renault is one of the worst defenders. And it is surprising to see Pirtle, not be on the injury report. I guess something could happen later on in the day. Maybe they forgot. It's a back-to-back. I don't know. But as far as we know, he is playing basketball. TJ, talk to us about your Raptors. Do you know a guy? Is anybody – I know Canada's a big country. I'm sure you got a guy in the Raptors. Scotty Barnes, is he playing tonight or what?
I do actually know a guy who was – I don't think he ended up getting the job, but I know a guy who was interviewing to be Masai Ujiri's assistant when he was still the GM and president there. And so I know he made it – he had a good interview process, but I don't think he ended up getting the job. But no inside man. I'm not sure if Scotty's playing. I do partially wonder if maybe they're leaning to Scotty being out, and that's why Pirtle is still not questionable for this one, just being like, hey, we still need some guys. We want to win this game. Sacramento sucks, but we're still in a very tight playoff battle. And so I definitely still think this is like one they're not just like punting or anything like that. And so if Barnes plays, I think he's a very interesting play. He has been playing some very strong basketball recently, and without Ingram, he's going to have to be putting up a lot of shots. And so if he plays, I think he's very interesting. Barrett probably the number one play on the team, and if Barnes is out, that loads Barrett up even further. If he plays, Pirtle is fine. I still kind of view him as like pseudo questionable just because I don't know 100% that he actually is going to play for sure until we see that starting lineup. And then like the Shed, Walter, Murray Boyles even, I think they're all fine. Mamu is going to be my favorite of the bench guys. And then if Scotty Barnes gets ruled out, I honestly think that's going to push me to a guy like AJ Lawson, who has been pretty good off the bench as like a point per minute producer. And if he's going to get like above 20 minutes, he's only 3,600.
So we are projecting exactly 20 for Lawson if we lose Barnes. And I think he would mop if this game gets goofy, right? He would, no matter how bad it gets. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's out there. Unless he loses minutes to Fultz. I don't think so. I think he would be one of the 5 if this game gets full on ugly. Pirtle only played 23 last game. Yeah. So maybe they think he can, give it a go on a back-to-back. But he's had that back issue throughout the year. And, we'll see. Stay tuned on that. Anything else here, boys, or shall we scoot along?
No, just like if Barnes is out, Raptors are a absolutely load up on them kind of team. Like get 3 of them type of situation. And I do think like I'm not very big on Pirtle, but I do actually think Murray Boyles or Mamu probably has a pretty big day today.
Hit refresh on the lineup HQ. We just got the Bulls update. If you missed it, Giddey out, Richards out, Yabusele is good to go. The update on Barnes was worthless. It was a game time decision. That does not help us at all. Okay, let's get there. Let's talk about Indiana and Chicago. Biggest total on the board. Small benches, right? I think it's 11 versus 11, maybe 11 versus 10. Counting here on the fly. It's high and tight. Chicago is a 4-point favorite against the Pacers. 248.5 is the total. I thought Indiana was gonna be tanking out to Pascal more. I guess they just feel kind of comfortable where they're at. They are in the top 4 as far as the tankathon, actually in the top 3. We know the deal with Indiana. They got to get it within the top 4 to keep their pick. If they're not in top 4, they lose their pick. Or if they go 10 through 30, which is not happening, by the way. I like how they negotiated that in case they somehow ended the season with like a 30-game win streak or something like that. But the point is, they're basically a coin toss to keep their pick going in the next year. Otherwise, it goes to the Clippers. Who's in? Who's out? Well, let's give the update when it comes to the Bulls. We just talked about it. I'll clean up the rest for Chicago. Zach Collins, we haven't seen him all season long, I don't think. Simons is out. Jalen Smith, Sticks is out. That's the other important one. So Yabusele might have a pretty good projection. I've not hit refresh, but I don't know how many minutes they can play him, but he's probably going to play a fair amount. Pascal is probable. Slauson is probable from the G League. Obi Toppin also probable with his foot. I'm counting 11 players and nobody questionable. Everybody's either in or out. Nemhard Naismith not playing. Neither is Timothy John. Noto, did you get a chance to refresh? How are we feeling about the Bulls? How does I haven't looked at it just yet. How does Sexton project? Trey Jones, Buzelis should get a fair bit of run. What are you looking at?
Yeah, so just refreshed and just sort of our RG value in the top 8 RG values tonight. There are 4 Bulls, 2 Pacers, 2 Sixers. Like we mentioned in the intro, it's kind of what we were expecting.
Yeah,
and even more the case now that Giddy's out. So Jones has the highest RG value on the slate, followed by Sexton. Buzelis not far behind them, and then like you mentioned, Yabusele is going to have a much bigger role. We haven't checked it for 30 minutes. I think he's a great play as well. I'm probably going to get at least 3 Bulls, maybe 4. I had Quentin Jackson, tagged as a core play earlier in the day, but I think he's still a strong play, but I don't necessarily think he's a core play now that we got these strong mid-range options in Jones, Sexton, Buzelis. I think there's a lot of good plays in this game, especially on Indiana's side. Like, we don't really know what their rotation is going to look like. Like, if Siakam plays 33 minutes, like we've seen a couple times recently, he could put up 55 to 60. He's probably got one of the biggest ranges of outcomes of anybody on the slate tonight. So I think he's interesting for tournaments. You can go Cam Jones, Quentin Jackson. Ben Shepherd's always a guy that gets minutes in these situations. He never really does anything with them, but he tends to start some of these games. Then you have like Micah Potter, Obi Toppin. Like, all these guys could get there. So the Indiana side's kind of tricky, but Chicago, it's like 4 guys that really project well tonight.
Yeah, Pascal is an interesting one because I think he projects really well. We have the salary for it. The matchup's awesome. It's just how much do they push back as far as the minutes? But they haven't really harnessed them a ton. They've kept them around 30, 31, 32, 33, at least between 30 and 34 last 4 games. Probably wouldn't hurt if they're losing as opposed to winning. Maybe he comes in a little bit quicker off the bench if they're losing. But, TJ, jump in here. Bulls, Pacers, they're 2 teams that are projecting well.
Yeah, the Pacers side is one of the wildest projection things I've seen this year with, Slauson's just went down a little bit to sub 20, but 5 guys on the team below 4K projecting for over 20 points. Just such a wild amount of value on this team. I feel like you probably want one of Quentin Jackson or Cam Jones on basically every team. Probably want one of Kobe Brown or Jalen Slauson, and maybe include Potter there too on every team. And then obviously there's the Siakam thing where he's right in that Ryan Rollins conversation we talked about, where it's like, okay, this guy could have 14 fantasy points because he barely plays, or he could have 60 because he gets full run and has a 38% usage rate tonight. And so definitely like a high ceiling play you want to get access to for tournaments. Of the cheap value on Indy, I probably rank them Jackson 1, Brown 2, Jones 3, Slauson 4, Potter 5. But I'm going to be getting a ton of all of these guys. I don't have any need to get to an Ethan Thompson or a Ben Shepherd. Yeah, sure, maybe they could have a ceiling performance, but these are guys that typically, even if they get minutes, they're not doing a whole lot. Then on the Chicago side, not as deep, but like you guys said, like 3, 4, 5 plays here that project really, really well. Yabusele, Sexton, Jones, Buzelis, all of them are projecting incredibly well. I will make a rule, max 1, Yabusele and Leonard Miller, but I do think Leonard Miller is a really interesting tournament play too. Maybe a pivot off of Yabusele if he gets steamed up a little bit. Not a guy that needs very many minutes, but he has been very productive in limited time so far. And they've kind of been throwing him into that big man role, even with that small forward, power forward eligibility a little bit, at least just playing some small ball. So Leonard Miller is somebody I'll get exposure to as well. I think my favorite Bull is probably Trey Jones, but Sexton and Buzelis are really close too.
I just updated my core play, my tag that is on lineup HQ. I think Noto did as well. You didn't have that before, correct?
Yep.
Did you get rid of Jackson? I had him before. I'm debating unchecking him. I think he's fine, obviously, but I don't know would you call him a core play? Do you still have him tagged?
I tagged him about 12 seconds ago.
Well, there you go. Look at it. We're both doing the same thing on the fly, trying to figure it out. And it's not that he's a bad play. Okay. And you got Jones ahead of Buzelis, all things considered. TJ, you're doing the rankings for Chicago.
What was that? Sorry.
You have Jones ahead of Buzelis when you consider salary and all that?
Yeah, but just very slightly.
Yabusele is center and center only on FanDuel. He's cheap. We're expecting 30 minutes. Yeah, I was going to tag him over there, but I don't know if I like that he's center and center only, but certainly a good play on center. I think on DK, well, you get 2 as well. Is he a core play now? 4.8 on DK. Yeah, looking pretty good. All right. You're definitely going to be getting players from this game. Anything else that we should stress? We like this game. And then, look, this time of year, we love this nonsense. Pacers, Bulls, lots of points, lots of players we're not aware of necessarily. We got anything else here, boys, or shall we scoot along and talk about New York and Memphis? They're going to spin the wheel afterwards, so get in that Discord now. Final chance to hit the avatar. We don't want to have Steve scrambling. I think we're good to move on, yes?
Yeah, we are good to move on, but Ryan Rollins is out, and so the Bucks will officially have 8 players.
Man. Is the line almost not high enough? 18.5? Again, who is running point and you're facing Houston? Like, good luck.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I would bet Houston plus 8 or minus 18.5, but I still think I would bet the under. Even with like Milwaukee's implied team total being so wildly low, I think the under is the play because Houston plays pretty slow too.
Yeah, under Milwaukee team total is an interesting bet. Just thinking about that as you kind of mentioned that. Yeah. And Green and Trent are going to project pretty well, I think. Let's knock out New York. And we don't know about Brunson. Brunson is questionable. It's another game it's supposed to blow out because the Grizzlies are terrible. They have a bunch of guys. Like, honestly, they hit the create a player button several times on this team that I need a proof of life of some of these. Lucas Williamson. Lucas, really? Okay.
Oh, Lucas Williamson. He's the guy from that college.
Sure. Yeah, he was great. He made a big shot.
They played those games.
226.5 is the total. New York in Memphis, 15-point favorite here. No Mitch Rob because it's the back half of a back-to-back. So Cat, he certainly projects really well. We know how Memphis is terrible. They're vulnerable on the inside. They don't rebound because they don't stress height. Brunson is questionable. Otherwise, for New York, McBride is out. We mentioned Mitch Rob. Taj Gibson's questionable. Revenge? Let's not mention all the Memphis guys. They have more than like 11 people, possibly 12. I don't think we play anybody in Memphis. You guys tell me, though. I'm just hosting the show. No. New York, Memphis. And you have any if-then as far as what if Brunson doesn't play?
At this point, we know Brunson's not going to play. Like, everyone else has been questionable. They're out. So I like Cat. I like Cat a lot. He's averaged 49 fantasy points per game when Mitch Rob's been out. And then you mentioned the matchup against Memphis. Like, they just don't have bigs. So he should dominate here. I know there's a potential blowout, but at least the game's in Memphis. So he's my favorite play. And then, if Brunson's out, then you're going to get, Clarkson, Alvarado. I think they're both going to project really well. Usage bumps for Hart and Bridges and Anunoby. But at that point, I don't know. I don't think they're going to project as well as the Chicago guys. So, and then Memphis.
Jalen Brunson out.
Is he?
There it is.
Yep.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
And Stud MLB in chat brings up a really good point. We need to put some respect on Lucas Williamson. He says he is a dog. Averaged 29.5 points per game last year in Stud MLB's church league. So impressive stuff. I've heard that's a pretty solid church league.
Is that is that a joke or no? We don't know if it's a joke or not.
Yes, it's very much a joke.
What day is today, TJ? I forgot.
It's very much a joke. And you know what? We live in such a day and age of misinformation and, fake AI videos and photos, things like that. you should be on your toes every day, not just April Fool's Day.
Every day is April Fool's Day.
Hey, it's hard to score 29 in a church league. Those old guys just foul. They don't let you get to the rim.
So, fun fact, I've actually, when I was probably like 14-ish, I played some games in a men's league in Salt Lake City, Utah, Noto.
Okay.
How'd that work
Just
out?
like
What were you
randomly.
doing?
I was in your neck of the woods. My dad's friend ended up moving from here to Utah like a couple decades ago, and we went and visited him one time when March Madness was playing some games there, and so we went to Sweet 16 in the Elite Eight, and it was like the Gordon Hayward Butler years. Some Shelvin Mack was there. I watched. It was Jordan Crawford, I believe, played for like Xavier or Kansas State. I don't remember what side he was on, but he had like a 40-point game in triple or quadruple overtime or something.
Yeah, I was there. I remember those games.
Yeah, I was cooking some of these guys in the Utah men's league.
I think we still have Brunson in projections. They'll take him out here momentarily, but that means we basically got all the big news, I think.
Barnes we're waiting on.
Barnes, yeah, we're still waiting on Barnes, which definitely is impactful for sure. Okay. Anything else you want to say as far as Memphis and New York, TJ?
Yeah, I haven't touched on this one yet.
My apologies.
No, you're good. We had the breaking news in the middle. I will say the one guy who projects pretty well for Memphis is Adama Ball. I am learning this man's name for the very first time right now, but he's projecting pretty well. I trust our projections team. And then on the Knicks side, obviously, we're going to have the projection update come in right away. Clarkson's going to project great. Alvarado is going to project great. Large field tournaments only. Like, obviously, Towns is a great play. Hart's is a great play. Maybe you mix in some OG. Maybe Bridges is even cheap enough for us to play now without a Jalen Brunson. But the one guy I want to keep my eye on for large field tournaments, I'm going to mix in just a little bit. I think Tyler Kolek is a super interesting large field play. We are only going to be projecting him for 12 minutes is what the if-then projection says. But I feel like that's kind of a volatile thing. Like, we don't know necessarily against a team like Memphis that they're just going to go all in on Clarkson and Alvarado at the 1 and 2 guard spot all game. It's a big spread. Memphis is trying to lose this game. I think a 3K Tyler Kolek is interesting because we know when he goes out there and plays minutes, he's a fantasy stud. And so a 3K flat, I do think there's a ceiling there for large field.
I am refreshing and making some new lineups, making some new optimals. And I think the optimal is if you're still in the cash game streets, you're getting Maxey and Cat and Pascal. I think you can get all three of those on FanDuel. A little bit tougher, I think, to get all three of those on DK. You mentioned Kolek. Do you like him more than Alvarado, I guess? He's the one that's projected.
No. Alvarado is like the great play. He projects well. You can throw him in cash games. Tyler Kolek is like, I'm going to play 3 to 5% of this dude in large field tournaments, and if this turns into a blowout, he could be a slate breaker kind of thing.
Would you split those two, max one?
Yes.
Okay. I think we're spinning the wheel 2, maybe 3 times, depending on how many people hit the like button. We're going to circle back and go position by position. We'll answer the questions. And again, questions are prioritized in the Discord channel. Steve, fire up, I don't know, surprise it. Ooh. I think that is Esquire, if I'm reading that correctly. Shout out to Esquire.
Let's go.
That's got to be Steve's. This feels like something Steve's. He's a EDM guy, I think. I would imagine he's rocking out behind the scenes. Falcons fan 07. Are we getting 3 or is it just 2, Steve?
Ooh, I think just 2. We need to get 110 likes for 3, and I believe we did not reach that plateau.
Did you boo the Falcons? Is that what happened there?
Yeah, I'm a Saints fan, Dean. We don't like the Falcons.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we're 16 legs short. I will give them 10 seconds.
10.
Steve,
Hit the like button. 9. Hit the like
There's
button. 8, hit the
240
like
people
button.
watching. It's definitely doable.
And for those that won, Steve's going to slide in and hook you up there in the Discord channel, juice you up with RG Premium, or if you want scores and odds, little dealer's choice. That was 10 seconds. What do you got, Steve?
I don't think it worked.
103.
Oh,
And I
that's
know
actually
the-
not bad.
I know the stream's on a little bit of a delay, so maybe.
All you got to do is give it a little click, and you can win a full week free of content, people.
I'm
Not just basketball, but all the sports. And I don't know if you know, baseball. Baseball's a thing.
shuffling it
And
up.
the Masters is next week.
Yep, the
I
mask.
got some tickets for that. I'm going to be looking at all the Noto's content. Probably watch the Drive for Show, DFS for Doe show on Tuesday.
Dean, I brought your name up to be on the show for next week.
I'm going to be on the show.
I don't know. I just we were like, hey, we need a guest host for the Masters. I was like, people have been clamoring for a Dean golf show for years.
I don't know anything about golf.
We'll see if Andy reaches out to you.
All right, we're at 108. I trust they can do it, so we'll spin one more.
Great job, everybody.
I just want to see TJ dance again.
Boom, boom, boom.
Looning about.
All right, I'll shoot
Name
you guys
I've
a message.
Never seen before.
I like saying a new name. All right.
Are they Canadian? Looning about with a loony?
That would be looning a boot, I believe, TJ.
Ah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
How much do you hate that? I'm sorry.
That's never bothered me. I still like people say like my Canadian accent comes out big when I say the word tomorrow, and I still don't.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know what that like. I don't recognize it at all. Like that's not something I hear. But I know I'm not an boot guy. I say my about pretty pronounced.
Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant confirming it. We put a lot of man hours into de-rigging the wheel, and that was confirmation the wheel has been officially de-rigged because some new names. All right, point guard. We got to go through this pretty efficiently. We're going to combine DK and FanDuel. Anything distinctly different on FanDuel, feel free to point it out. Same deal with DK. TJ, start with me as far as point guards. Favorite point guards tonight are who?
Great question. I feel like I can now answer that actually because we have basically all of the news we were waiting for except for Scotty Barnes.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey and then 73 super cheap guys is basically how it looks. We got Maxey up top. I feel like he is a must play for cash games. He is the top spend up on the whole slate with no Joel Embiid. And then you have Trey Jones in the mid tier projecting super well also. After that is where it's like, if you have a big stand on one of these guys, hammer it, because Quentin Jackson, Cam Jones, AJ Green, Adama Ball, any of these guys could be the cheap play that gets it done. But Maxey is your clear one, Jones is your clear two. I feel pretty equal on a Cam Jones and a Quentin Jackson, but I'm realizing we haven't had the Alvarado update come in quite yet, I don't think. Oh, yeah, there it is at 26 fantasy points. I think I prefer Alvarado over the Indiana and Milwaukee. Pardon me. Over the Indiana and Milwaukee guys.
I don't think I asked you this. If you said it, my apologies, TJ. Would you cap Cam Jones and Jackson at 1?
I don't think you need to.
Okay. I mean, I feel more like you should because of Alvarado lurking. That's just kind of like, but yeah, I don't think I don't know if you need to, but you know,
it's like they might both get 24, and that just might not be enough.
Yeah. No, give me all the guards, point and shooting.
Is this for both sides or just DraftKings?
Yeah, if anything stands out on FanDuel, by all means, point it out. Same with the DK, but it's just like a one-side thing. But yeah, we're combining the two just because time is of the is of essence, of importance. It's closing in on us.
Yeah, so I like the Bulls guys a lot. Tagged both of them, Trey Jones, Colin Sexton. And then right now, I'm gonna play Maxey, but I'm thinking about switching my core play tag from George to Maxey, because if I lock in George, I get George and Jackson, and if I don't, I get Buzelis and Alvarado. what 2v2 do you guys like there?
Buzelis, Alvarado. What was the first one?
Paul George and Quentin Jackson.
I kind of like the
I
second
like
one.
Buzelis, Alvarado. I like both, but
yeah, I was leaning Buzelis, Alvarado, but guess I want to see Indiana's starting lineup. Jackson usually comes off the bench in these situations, but so yeah, I like Jones, Sexton, Maxey, and then Alvarado, probably my top 4 guards tonight.
TJ, shooting guards as well as small forwards. What do you got?
Trey Jones, you can play over here at the shooting guard position on both sites. Andre Jackson for Milwaukee is somebody that's projecting pretty decent now, 3,800 on FanDuel, and he is projecting like he's got the second highest RG value over there. I think I prefer Quentin Jackson and Cam Jones to him just by a little bit. You got Cormac Ryan, cheap, looking pretty good now too. I think I like the mid-tier guys here a little bit better, like just because there's so much wild value now. I'm going to prioritize the Trey Jones and Colin Sexton's, RJ Barrett's a little bit more than the super cheap guys, I think. But all of those cheapies are totally viable. And then if you're looking to spend up, I do like Amen Thompson here as well at shooting guard. Small forward position Amen Thompson's only shooting guard on FanDuel, only point guard on DK. Small forward, things get a little exciting. You can play Sexton here too. Buzelis, Paul George, Gary Trent projecting super well now. Josh Hart projecting super well now. Become a really, really strong position. And then if you're not going to one of the chalky mid-range guys, I like both Jaylen Brown and Kevin Durant projecting for low ownership. I think those are great guys to sneak in on this slate. And then like from a cash perspective, I think you're sticking to like the Sexton, Buzelis, George Trent.
Noto, small forward, power forward, both on FanDuel and DK, please.
Yeah, I like Towns and George the best. I think Buzelis is a close third. Again, I'm still debating that 2v2, so I might end up with Buzelis over Paul George. Then you have Sexton available at small forward on DraftKings, which is kind of nice. I think Yabusele is definitely an interesting way to target the Bulls. I think he's popping in the optimal right now. And then obviously we got to wait for the Toronto news. If Scotty Barnes ends up being out, then that's going to change a lot of stuff as well. And we talked about Gary Trent. I think he's a really interesting tournament play. Probably going to have a high usage rate. Probably going to be the point guard there. It's a tough matchup. Probably going to draw Amen Thompson. But, man, the usage rate's going to be there, so I like him a little bit. And, yeah, I liked Tatum earlier in the day, but I just don't think I can get there now.
TJ, I need, let's see, I think I need power forward, right?
Yeah, power forward for me. If Scotty Barnes plays, I absolutely love him tonight. I think he is a phenomenal tournament play. As it stands, Towns, the number one guy here. Buzelis and George are totally fine to go here. I don't love Yabusele. I think that's probably chalk I'd rather avoid. I would much rather pivot to Leonard Miller, his teammate, at much smaller ownership. And then talked about Siakam, talked about some Tatum earlier. Tatum, I think, is totally fine, but dropping down my list a little bit. And then that's mostly it. I just got a notification. I thought it might be the Barnes one. It was not. But if Barnes is out, bump up RJ Barrett, Murray Boyles, Mamu Kelishvili, and then I think it would make me like AJ Lawson too.
We have starting lineups for the first two games. I don't think there's anything weird. Oh, Franz Wagner is starting. He will be on a minutes limit, and his price is too high to consider, but it is noteworthy, I suppose. He's starting Da Silva to the bench. Washington is starting Carrington, Johnson, Coulibaly, Riley, Vucevic. Philly starting Bona getting the start, Barlow, George, VJ Edgecombe, and Maxey. Now we got to knock out centers. Noto first.
Yeah, for me it's Towns, and that's pretty much it. But I didn't bring up Siakam. I think he's one of the more intriguing tournament plays on the board, especially if you're playing, 3 or 4 Bulls, and this game does have a close spread. We've seen him play over 30 minutes in 3 of the last 4 games. They're missing Nembhard and a bunch of other guys. So I think Siakam's one of the more interesting tournament plays, but Towns is my favorite at center.
I will go next since, I don't know. Dean's not talking. I don't think he's muted. But he's mute now. Now he's muted. There we go. Center spot, Towns, you can play here, of course. A lot of the same names that we already mentioned at power forward. I think Mamu is still my favorite of the cheap options. If we get some funny business with Pirtle's minutes, he's the one that's going to benefit. If this one starts getting ugly, he's going to benefit. That's kind of like the main guys. I don't mind spending up for Şengün or Adebayo to get a little bit different. And then if you got to go cheap, Micah Potter, I think, is interesting, as is Andre Drummond for large field stuff.
All right. I am taking a peek here at what's going on in the Discord channel. Steve's going to find me some questions from the YouTube. If you have any questions, fire them off. We got 10 minutes until lock, 10 minutes until 7 o'clock on the East Coast. I have to scroll up a little bit because we have some questions here. All right. So Rob G wants to know, Noto, OG or Hart, DK single entry tournaments?
I'm going to go Josh Hart, but it's close.
TJ, Jim Perry says, thoughts on Bona? Are we still, this is at 6:14. I'm trying to think of some of these questions that may have expired. How do you feel about Bona?
No Bona for me.
Yeah. I guess Yabusele kind of replaced him. In that kind of price tiering. Jim also has a question for Noto. Barrett, Buzelis on DK. Who's your preference amongst those two for tournaments? RJ Barrett or Buzelis?
I'll put in a little if Barnes is active, then I would go Buzelis. If Barnes is out, then I would go Barrett.
Golfnet says, how about OG Anunoby for a single entry? DK is ownership projected less than 10%. This was at 6:49. I'm not sure if they've had a chance to update it. A lot of moving parts, but TJ, OG for DK single entry.
Yeah, I feel like single entry I probably don't get there, but he is going to be super low owned. I have no problem with that play.
Another question again from the Discord. Again, your questions are prioritized here. Noto D-Rock has a question. 2v2 DK tournaments. Jackson and Yabu versus Jones and Trent. I think that's Cam Jones and Trent. So it's a couple punts for a couple punts. Cam Jones and Trent versus Yabu and Jackson. I assume that's Milwaukee Jackson. Maybe it's Indiana Jackson? I think it's Milwaukee. Which Jackson is that?
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's Trey Jones, I like that side. But Cam Jones, I like the other side, assuming it's who are the Jacksons?
It just says Jackson. Q Jackson. It's Q Jackson.
Okay, yeah. I would go the Q Jackson side unless it's Trey Jones on the other side.
It's not Trey Jones. Yeah, it is Cam Jones. So, yeah, a reminder, please. Yeah, details are helpful, especially on names like that, or just letting us know if it's FanDuel, if it's DK, if it's tournaments, if it's cash. Okay. Questions in the chat. So, yeah, no. Alan's got a question. Thoughts on Drummond in a blowout? I'm not certain Drummond plays in a blowout. Like, why would you play him in a blowout? I don't think he's for sure like a mop guy. They have enough bigs that it might not be him. I don't think that's like a lock that he plays in a blowout. What do you say?
Yeah, if you're playing Drummond, you're kind of just hoping he gets there based on efficiency and an elite matchup against Washington. I don't think you're counting on the blowout.
Yeah, like Edwards can play the 5 or Watford can play the 5. DK tournaments. Well, this is a TJ question. He's mentioned both these guys, and this is a little bit different. Murray Boyles or Miller for Chicago. Who's your preference amongst those two?
Miller.
Let's see. Cleveland Pickers got a question. FanDuel specific, FanDuel specific, $4,200 to spend at shooting guard. Who's your favorite shooting guard at $4,200 on FanDuel? I can circle back if you need to. You probably don't have that off the dome unless you do.
Let me look. So we got like Andre Jackson, Quentin Jackson. It's probably one of those two, and I would maybe lean towards Andre Jackson.
Is it not AJ Green? Oh, is that FanDuel or DK?
He projects a little bit worse than those guys, but they're all within 2 points of each other.
Okay. No, you made one-man lineup, correct?
Yep.
You locked in? You good?
Yeah, I went Buzelis and Alvarado.
How many Bulls do you end up with?
4.
4 Bulls. Alvarado. Did you get Maxi Cat?
Yeah, Maxi Cat, 4 Bulls, Alvarado.
Yeah, you don't tell me your whole lineup. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of figuring it out.
And one other guy.
I'm all set too. I just got my lineups in.
Who's the biggest stand you have, TJ?
Compared to ownership or
both, however you want to answer it.
I'll just do a refresh to make sure my ownership projections are updated. My current highest owned player is Trey Jones at 59%. Tyrese Maxey second, 52. Cohen Sexton third, 47. My biggest stand based on ownership, I guess, is probably Leonard Miller. Like, I have 20% of him right now.
What is his current projection?
1%.
No, I mean, as far as like, what are we giving him, like 20 minutes or something like that?
Oh, yeah, 20 minutes, 20.8 fantasy points.
Yeah. I'm assuming you did not play more than one of Miller and Yabusele. You put a rule in.
Max one of Yabu and Miller. I'm getting more Miller than I am Yabu, actually, just because of that ownership difference. And so I think that probably is my biggest current stand. And then I'll be overweight on a couple guys like Kevin Durant. I have 20% of.
Did you get any Huff?
No, I got no Huff.
He's an interesting one that, there's not, I mean, just.
I'd rather play Potter just because I think they have similar ceilings and one's $1,000 cheaper.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen Huff have those games. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but, and he's just not going to be played, far as I can tell. Who's your biggest fade? Is it Yabusele or is it somebody else?
Yeah, Yabusele I have only 10% of him, so certainly one of the ones that I am lightest on. Let's see, is there anybody I've just full on excluded? I don't have any Jalen Johnson, Paolo Banchero. I have no Magic players whatsoever. But
That's a big fan.
Yeah. Kobe Brown or Slauson at small forward on DK.
Well, are you asking me or are you just reading the question?
I'm reading the question for both of you.
No, no. You got Kobe Brown or you got Slauson.
We don't have their lineup yet, right?
Yeah, like whichever one starts. I know it sounds. Yeah. I would just take whoever starts amongst those two.
It's usually what I lean towards.
We're currently projecting Slauson, but honestly, it's not that easy to project. I mean, Pascal's going to start. We're currently projecting Jackson, Slauson, Thompson, Pascal, and Jay Huff. We're seeing 11 bodies. Cleveland Picker says Yabu and Drummond or Wendell. Wait, so one of those three, Yabu, Drummond, or Wendell Carter. I mean, I just can't imagine playing Drummond amongst those three. Noto, Yabu, Drummond, or Wendell Carter.
It's Yabu for me. Pretty significant margin there.
All right, Rob G's got a question here. The Discord channel, TJ, he's already got 3 Bulls DK tournaments. Hart and Paul. Wait, is that Paul George? Why is it cut up like that? I think it's Hart and Paul George versus Maxey and Yabusele.
Hart and Paul George.
All right. Is there anything else going on in the Discord? Jim's got a question for Noto. 6,100 left for utility. So that's got to be DK. Who's our best DK play at 6,100 or less?
If he doesn't have Trey Jones, I would go there. If he does, yeah, that's kind of a dead range, so it's probably Trey Jones for me. And then you have Sexton at like 52, which I like a lot. Nobody like right in that 6K price point though that I like.
What about 6'8"? Who's your Hang Banners is asking for 6'8"? A little extra money.
Close to Hart, so it'd probably be Anunoby or find the $100 for Hart.
TJ, you answered that question already in chat. We got a minute or two. Do want to mention, we gave away some premium. You can just go ahead and buy it. We'd appreciate that. It's baseball season. We're giving a discount for Combo Pro, $64.99. That's the same price as baseball would be a la carte. It includes basketball, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, NBA, PGA. You're going to want PGA. The Masters next week. WNBA, whenever that fires up. LOL. MMA, did I miss something? All the bells, all the whistles. It does renew for $119 and change. You get Plate IQ, SimLabs, Lineup HQ, all the goods. And, if you're not aware, get yourself the bat as an add-on. Derek Hardy's premium product, an add-on sub for Lineup HQ, or you can just get it. You can just push a button, and all of a sudden it's on Lineup HQ, or you can go to the bat page. New this year, you get betting picks from Cardi. Let's see. If you guys don't sub to us, these shows will have to go away. Well, there's Steve is threatening the people. Do not sub and we're gone. How about that? Do we have a early? I guess there's still a tournament, right? I tailed some of your picks and scores and odds, Noto. So my apologies if they don't hit. I guess they all can't hit. Just one. As far as out rates, who's your favorite this week? All things considered.
I like McNeely plus 2,800. Last week we had Højgaard runner up. That was kind of painful, but we're gonna get there this week, and we'll go on a run.
It's a bummer, right? When you're runner up and there's no sweat, because I can't remember who the guy was. Woodlands? Was Wood something?
Yeah, he was up 5 pretty early. It started as a 1-shot lead, and it just ballooned from there. But Hammer Tiger Woods is not going to win the Masters. Not going to play, unfortunately, after the DUI. But maybe next year.
Anything else for the road boys?
It's kind of cool to think about. Is there another sport where there is an undisputed GOAT who is also the sport's biggest, like, what could have been story?
That is weird.
Like, there's no doubt Tiger Woods is the best golfer of all time, but if things went differently, like, he just would have been, he'd have records that would just never ever be broken.
Yep.
Great point. What's the other sport that has somebody like that? Is that what you're asking, TJ?
No, I think I'm saying it's kind of cool how unique golf is in that way.
I mean, I don't know a lot about golf, but I do remember like 20, 25 years ago. I remember when I was living in Vegas, actually, and I'm sure Noto remembers, probably too young. But Tiger was like 2-1 to win tournaments, like even money to win golf tournaments.
There were times that Tiger was like minus money. Like there were times it was Tiger or the field, and the odds on Tiger were worse than the field.
And they were probably terrible bets. They were probably not plus EV, because I would imagine the public loved themselves some Tiger, because that's the guy they knew.
Scotty Barnes upgraded to probable, by the way.
Nice.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. And I guess we don't have an official lineup, right? Yeah, it's still for an hour away. But I assume we would have got something. Well, I don't know. We're assuming Pirtle's playing, correct? No reason to think.
At this point, yes.
All right, boys. Let's step aside. Let's get out of here. Tomorrow, tentatively, we have a baseball show. I know we lost the game due to the weather. We're down to 3, but I don't know if we're doing this. I think we're doing a baseball show. I think it's still on the schedule. And there's basketball tomorrow night as well, so we're doing basketball. So again, 2 sports, 2 shows for your boy. Baseball in the afternoon, basketball at night. TJ, you're going to want to get the Utah flu, the last game of the year. I don't know if you saw this, but 15 games on that Sunday slate in about 12 days. Get yourself that Utah flu, whatever Kyle Filipowski had. I mean, I think I saw you hosting. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but that's going to be a fun one. You're going to be scrambling a lot on the air because it's going to be full on. You thought tonight was nonsense? Full-fledged nonsense.
I don't scramble, Dean. I'm a professional.
Well, I feel like that was shots.
I'm kidding. I'm messing around. Yeah, that's gonna be wild. I don't know. That's gonna be interesting.
That was TJ. That was Noto. That was producer Steve. Hit that like button your way out. We'll see you tomorrow. We're out of here. Oh.